Welcome back to Broadscast here on KHTS.
Hi, we're here with Mackenzie Pearson.
Yes, and she is the original dad bod poster. Welcome back, Mackenzie.
Welcome.
So you also wrote, as you said earlier in last segment, you also wrote a post about mom bods.
Yes.
Now, what's interesting is, did you get 5,000 shares in the first,
No.
Why do you think that is?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. The mom bod did come out a little bit later after the dad bod kind of blew up. Mm-hmm. And I think the mom bod, too, has a really different tone than the dad bod article. The dad bod's very fun, very lighthearted, and the mom bod is too, in a way, but it's a little bit more relatable, I think, for women than it is for men.
I find it interesting because I think that your two posts sort of are a perfect example of how the dad bod and the mom bod are received from the public.
Exactly.
You know, the dad bod is like, woo, he's hot. Like, we are actually celebrating him as a hot sexual being for who he is. And the mom bod, as much as I love that, like, with you talked about your mom and her tiger stripes, and, you know, we wear our mom bods as this badge of honor. Like, we've been through a war, you know, and we came out on the other side and we've survived the mom bod.
And we're still not skinny enough.
Right, like it's like we're supposed to accept ourselves, and yet the men are encouraged to look at themselves in the mirror and be proud of them. You're like, whoa, look at me, I'm hot. What is that?
I mean, what I kind of was trying to hit on too in the mom bod article was that the mom bod is not a specific body type because no woman looks the same. The mom bod is a movement for female body acceptance, for being proud of your body, whether you've had a child or not. You know, I used to struggle really bad with my self-image, especially as a female. And my mom helped me get through a lot of that. And ultimately, I think that the mom bod is more of a movement than it is actually a physical body type.
Well, have you seen? I mean, I don't know if they're actually. I don't think they're connected because your article was a couple, like May 11th, I think. But there's this other movement that's happening. These women that are taking pictures of their stretch marks and their bodies and putting them on Instagram and social media and trying to, you know, make a statement that they're proud of who they are. And it saddens me that I don't feel like it's taking off the same way that the dad. I mean, we're like Jackie said, we're celebrating these man boobs and and it's amazing.
Nobody's celebrating boobs. I'm sorry, nobody.
But go ahead.
I was going to say too, it's been really interesting too because the dad bod, as lighthearted and as fun as it was, brought to my own attention just men that were messaging me, or boys or guys in general, that said, I'm insecure. But in the society that we're in, we feel pressure not to feel insecure, not to be able to talk about the insecurities about our body, whereas we as women are so reinforcing of others, of you're beautiful, you have a great body, that it surprised me to see how many men struggle with their self-image as well. And so I think for that, it almost was the guys that had been struggling with that self-image took that as momentum, and it really propelled that. And I think as the mom bod, we have a lot going on, and I think the guys are kind of interested in the self-image of themselves. I
love that perspective.
And what that article did for them.
I think that we don't realize how much we objectify men. I mean, it's just we objectify them differently. Mm-hmm. But in my other life, when I'm not doing Broadscast, I run a nonprofit organization that does counseling for kids. And we have a male issues group, and one of my staff did a topic that said, "What are your biggest insecurities?" And all the boys had to write something down on their own sheet and then come together as a group and share. There were 9, maybe 10 kids in the group. Every single one of those kids, independently of the others, wrote down that they had body image issues. Wow. And they were struggling with whether or not they were too fat, they didn't have enough muscle, they were too skinny. And my female facilitator was really surprised with unanimously 10 boys all saying that they struggle. And I think that we forget, you know, that we have to be celebrating boys' bodies. That came out wrong. But we have to be celebrating the acceptance of boys and their bodies, just like we're asking women and young girls to do.
I think we need to start a new movement. And I think, you know, from 19 to 44 here, that it's the human bod. It's the human bod, and we are who we are. We should be healthy, and we should be as strong as possible, but we are good enough, and we are beautiful, whether you're a man or a woman. And I know I feel like Norma Ray now.
No, Stuart Smalley, I just was feeling like.
No, but I think that's important. And I think that, you know, at 19 years old, and I don't mean to keep harping on that, but what's fascinating to me that at 19 I was so confused and I wasn't able to express myself. And so I love that you have the internet and you have your writing available to you to connect with other people. And you have a huge future in front of you. And I just think keep doing what you're doing and keep, talking about the things that really matter to people, and in a playful and in a fun and also in an effective and meaningful way. You should be really proud of what you're doing. And I think that,
thank you.
Keep going.
Yeah,
we would love to have you back.
And I told I talked to my parents about this obviously a lot, but I said it's been fascinating because I used to just write because I'm pre-med actually in school, and so I have a lot of weight on me with school, and I used to write as a creative outlet, something that kind of released that tension that was going on. And to be able to write and then suddenly people relate to it, and suddenly hearing the stories of the people that are reading what I wrote, and something that was never intended to go this wide, not this many people, I never expected this many people would ever read my writing and be in contact with me. Well, that is really incredible.
Well, keep up the good work.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
We're really proud of you, Mackenzie. Thank you so much for sharing your gift with us.
Yeah. Thanks so much. We'll be right back.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
right.
well, after coming up, Broad of the Week, right?
Oh, right. We're already at that time?
We're already at that time.
Okay.
Broad of the Week. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Broadscast on KHTS, our final segment. So in just a second, we're going to announce our Broad of the Week. But I wanted to bring up a story. There was an image posted on Imager. And it's gone viral. Like this week is all about those stories that have gone viral. And
back in the day, that used to mean like an STD, right?
Exactly.
So I just think it's funny how far we've come.
Yeah. So this person posts a picture of a college professor holding a baby, and she writes, "So one of the students came with her kid because she didn't have a babysitter. The kid starts to cry in the middle of the class, so his mom, all embarrassed, gets up to leave, and the professor took the kid from her, calmed him, and continued teaching." And so the image that's everywhere is this image of this professor holding this baby, and the baby's just chill, and he's continues teaching. And I just, kudos to him. He should be our bro of the week,
right?
Because it's hard. It's hard to do it all. And here's obviously, probably a young woman who feels like she can't balance being a mom and being a student. Mm-hmm. And, it's just, if we had more people like that who went out of their way to just go, hey, not a big deal.
Right.
Let me help you out.
Right. No, I think it's great. I think, I've always been someone who talks about being tolerant of each other as opposed to casting judgment and, denigrating someone for wanting to be better and do better. And, as a single parent, it's hard to manage and balance, and you don't always have sitters, and they flake on you sometimes. And I did it the other night. I went to an event, and I had to bring my kid with me, and I was so grateful that nobody looked negatively on me. I'm trying to be professional here. I'm toting my little kid behind me, but I don't.
And you always have, and he's the best kid ever because he just goes with it.
Right, but I just mean in general. There are people that are not. Look at the airline; they kicked the kid off the plane. Right. So we obviously can notice that people are not always tolerant of each other's special needs, regardless if you're on the spectrum or you have, other needs that put you in a position.
Absolutely, if we could just reach out and make a connection with somebody, or just lend a helping hand. I just think. Small acts of kindness are they go such a long way. But okay, so now on to maybe you've heard of Melissa Lay. Maybe you don't even know her name, but she is an Etsy shop owner and also a stay-at-home mom, and she makes tanks and teas and cool little designs. And she got a text or message from one of her friends and showing her a picture of her design, which is, shows hashtag America with a flag, a black and white shirt. And America. And so she got this photo of her shirt being sold in Target. Her design.
Thieves.
Her design. Her shirts go for $25 on Etsy. And
so Target just stole it for how much?
They sell it for $12.99.
Oh.
So imagine,
I've had my idea stolen before. You work in Hollywood. Sometimes that happens, and this is like a blatant.
Yeah.
I wish that she could say, what's that imitation is a form of flattery or something.
Not when it takes money out of your kid's mouth. You know what I mean?
Tatya, do you have an opinion about this?
I think that's like ridiculous. I hope that Target's actually. I know they're taking it out of their stores and like stopping.
Yeah, so Target
they should
announced
actually
Tuesday.
compensate her.
Yeah, right?
Because they like from the looks of it, the picture of the shirt that they were selling and the one that she sells is the exact same.
Yeah.
It was just blatant steal.
Target's is like, but Target's is a little distressed, where hers is a better quality. But the funny thing, all right, so Sandy Lake Clothing, SANDILAKE Clothing. It's on Etsy, it's on Facebook. It's just got to give her a little plug here. But she fought. She's 27, I believe, or in her 20s. You know, mom. At home,
fighting the big dog.
Fighting Target. First of all, I give a lot of credit to Target too for listening.
Didn't this happen to them? Didn't this happen with something else?
Well, I don't.
They did,
but I don't know that they.
Target.
But they also buy from vendors and things like that. Like they don't. I don't know the process, but I don't think like the CEO of Target was like, "Hey, we should take that design." I think there are a lot of people that it goes through. You know, where you just think I don't know that they necessarily knew about it, but I just think that Melissa, she's definitely our broad of the week because she didn't give up with the platform we have with social media and the internet and the ability to get your story out there and to fight the good fight. Right. She did. And she was on the Today Show and she, you know, so broad of the week.
Congratulations, Melissa.
She's fantastic. I mean, I just think, she should be proud of herself because I think if more people stood up instead of just took, you know,
be intimidated by a big, huge company.
And all their lawyers and how much, I mean, imagine 20 years ago, she would have, it's all about the lawyers and this and that. Like she wouldn't have been able to just post about it and make this.
Trying to find them in the phone book.
Right? But you know,
faxing and paging. Yeah.
And so it's such a great time in that while the internet can be so painful, it's also a platform for people who wouldn't otherwise have that opportunity, you know? And Tatiana, you're growing up, I mean, you know, in a time where you don't remember probably life without the internet.
I was thinking about that the other day. I really do not remember life without the internet, my phone.
Well, speaking of the internet, find us at broadscast.com. We will see you next week. That's it. We're out. Have a good week, everybody.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. See you later.